Blog.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radios, the Incoherent Ramblings of C&E. Christopher and Eric are your hosts, coming to you live from Greensboro, North Carolina, as we do every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. Welcome to Blog Talk Radios, the Incoherent Ramblings of C&E. Christopher and Eric are your hosts, coming to you live from Greensboro, North Carolina, as we do every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Our intro music is provided from the Podshow PodSafe Music Network. Check it out at music.podshow.com. Also, feel free to email your topics for discussion, suggestions, and comments to incoherentramblings@live.com. Okay, so today is Thursday, March the 5th, 2009. We're running a few minutes late. We apologize, but we were having technical difficulties. It seems like the cable modem is going in and out, Eric.
At C&E Studios?
Yes. Here we are in Greensboro, North Carolina, the internationally famous C&E Studios. How are you today, Eric?
Fantastic. And yourself, Chris?
I'm doing okay, except for I'm a little bit frustrated with my cable modem service right now.
I can tell. So, I want to give you everybody our call-in numbers. Our call-in number is 646-716-6928. We're having trouble with the cable modem, as Chris said, so if you're trying to instant message us, we may or may not receive it.
Right. Yeah, our chat session may not be available right now. We'll try to work on that as we go throughout the show.
We'll let you know when it's up.
Yes, that's what she said. Sorry. This is a little bit frustrating. This is kind of interesting what we're experiencing here. Not that our listeners would care about, but the weird thing is it seems to be Firefox. When we ever use Firefox to go, we could get logged on to blogtalkradio.com. We could get logged on to our account, but every time we try to open our switchboard, where we can go in and actually control the show and the audio and our calls and everything, it would automatically go out. So it was like, and we got into it just fine with Internet Explorer. I, however, cannot think of one reason how using a browser would turn your cable modem off. So I don't know if that's a coincidence or what, but we've got it up and working right now, and so we're just going to stick with that. So
that means our chat sessions aren't working, so they can.
I'm going to work on that. If you can do a story or two for us, so I can, because I don't. Christopher does not exactly multitask very well. No.
Okay, we'll jump straight into some stories here. The first story I had tonight was the headline for the story was "Team is Ref's Nightmare," and apparently it's an Italian football team that is a referee's nightmare because every single player has the same surname. Everyone on the squad, which plays for one of Italy's amateur leagues, shares the name DeFeo. And the coach, secretary, doctor, and all 12 sponsors of the Team DeFeo Club in Serino, southern Italy, also have the same name.
Wow.
Just to add to the confusion, the team's ground is located on Raphael DeFeo Street. So the locals say they were unlikely to run out of DeFeo players because that's a name that's very common in that area. So
well, apparently it's common, but are some of these people related?
Yeah, it doesn't go on to say, but one would think. Sounds like a great Abbott and Costello skit to me. To me, it sounds like it's less of a referee nightmare as it is an announcer nightmare.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, it goes something like announcer goes something like this. DeFeo at quarterback, under center is DeFeo. DeFeo takes the hike from DeFeo, takes a handoff to DeFeo, fakes the handoff to DeFeo. DeFeo are doing a great job protecting DeFeo. DeFeo back to pass. DeFeo is open. DeFeo connects with DeFeo 20 yards deep. DeFeo picks up a block from DeFeo. DeFeo could go all the way. Touchdown, DeFeo. That's the kind of play that could make DeFeo an MVP.
Yeah, well, I can see that could be some confusion. Could you see John Madden calling that game?
No. I'm actually want to make it easier for John. He might actually have a stroke. Yeah.
If he were to try that. Oh well, Eric, I'm trying to bring up our chat, and Blog Talk Radio apparently seems to be having technical difficulties also.
Okay.
Don't worry, the developers will be notified, and we will get this fixed.
Excellent.
So, if you're out there and listening, and you're in our chat room, we don't know that you're there, and we apologize.
Right.
But feel free to call in. That would be perfectly acceptable.
Again, that call-in number is 646-716-6928.
And don't forget, we are now on iTunes. Even if you don't use iTunes to listen to our show or to download it to sync it up to your iPod, if you have iTunes installed, go out there, please, and subscribe to our podcast, because that increases our exposure and it also increases our popularity as far as that podcast subscription is concerned. So go out there and do that for us. We would greatly appreciate it.
We've got some new artwork that they have been out there for our show logo.
Yes.
Featuring our show mascot.
Yes, our show mascot, Bella, my lovely pit bull. It's our new Incoherent Ramblings logo, and it has her head on it. And I think it looks pretty cool. So go out there and check it out. It's in iTunes and on all of our, MySpace, Facebook, on our Blog Talk Radio webpage. It's out there. And also, I never mentioned it because we don't have any listeners following us there. We are on Live Spaces by the Microsoft service as well.
Okay.
I update that page weekly, like I do all of our pages. So our web presence
is growing daily.
And we actually have some people that have been contacting us from abroad. I mentioned last week someone from Singala. We also have a listener in Sicily. We also have listeners scattered across the U.S., Pew in Texas. So our Ohio, we have listeners in Ohio. Hey, Christy.
Kettering, Ohio, where we have a story from today.
Do we have a story from there?
we can save that for later, but yeah, we have a story from our hometown, Kettering, Ohio.
Is that your home? Is that where you were born?
Born and raised until.
Well, okay. I thought it was Dayton. I was confused.
Well, Kettering's a suburb of Dayton.
Oh, a suburb. That's rich talk for.
Nobody really knows when you say I'm from Kettering. They don't know what that is. Most people know where Dayton is. So I just say Dayton.
Dayton, Ohio.
Dayton, Ohio.
I have an interesting story. Today, I want to go ahead and throw something out there real quick. Today, we only have pretty much stories. We don't have anything else lined up. We are going to incoherently ramble.
Live up to our show's name.
Yes, with just some stories that we found interesting. However, I do want to go ahead and promote now, 2 weeks from today, that would be March the 19th, we are having a show, not the entire show, but we will have a segment.
The day after my birthday. The
day after your birthday. Yes, the 18th is Eric's birthday. He'll be 58.
I don't look it.
It looks pretty amazing for his age, folks.
Looks 60.
But we are going to be featuring a segment about guns, and that's all I'm going to go into now. We will promote this on our website and give a little bit more information, but it's we have one person lined up already who is a gun aficionado.
Myself a novice, but
yes, Eric and I are both.
I've been researching it quite a bit lately.
We have been
recently made a purchase.
Yes, and we are going to take a class together about guns.
I was even interviewed live on TV.
Yes,
while at the gun range not too long ago.
Yes, he was live. They, of course, they contorted his words and changed the meaning of what he actually said.
It made me sound scared.
But that's the media for you.
Yes.
They aren't exactly honest. Anyhow, a segment on guns, and I'm working on. It's not guaranteed. I'm actually working on an official NRA board-certified gun safety expert, teacher, whatever you want to call it, but actually certified to teach to carry concealed courses, to teach. He's a referee at gun shooting competitions, and he's been shooting guns for 45, 50 years. As a coworker of mine, his name is Joe, and he's an amazing. He's got an amazing knowledge when it comes to guns, and we're trying to line up a little segment with him as well. So we're actually going to be talking about guns because it's on a lot of people's minds.
It is.
Christopher
and myself actually just recently signed up for the concealed carry course ourselves.
Yes, we will be taking that.
So don't mess with us if you see us out and about.
No, because we will be packing.
Armed and dangerous.
Armed. I don't know about dangerous. We will be armed. When we go to the range together, we are members at the same range, and we like to go there and shoot. So guns, a hot topic. Our current administration does not favor people that like guns, and we have to remind them that one of those lines in the Constitution actually addresses that, and they conveniently overlook that. So anyhow, interesting show, March 19th. We might actually be able to fill up half of it. We could make a whole hour out of it, but it's going to be an interesting show because we're going to have some knowledgeable people, much more knowledgeable than Eric and I are on guns. So just keep that in mind and join us for it, please.
Absolutely.
And if we can get people to call in, all the better.
Yep.
We like interacting with people calling in. I have a story here. It's actually an update. The original story, I'm sure people have heard about this, out in Denver, Colorado. A man was helping some elderly women across the street.
I think we talked about this on the show.
I don't know if we did or not.
I remember the story.
Okay.
So whether we talked about it or not, I do recall the story.
He actually got hit by another vehicle.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, and was in very serious shape. I mean, he was bleeding in the brain, broken bones, dislocated shoulder, and possibly even a ruptured spleen. He was in serious but stable condition. The interesting part about the story is that Colorado State Patrol issued a citation. Okay, this guy got out and was helping some old women get across the street, elderly women, who were in danger of being run over themselves.
Obviously, if it happened to him.
Right. And is somewhat of a hero, an actual hero.
Yep.
No cape, no mask, but an actual hero. And the highway patrolman actually followed him to the hospital and issued him a citation with him here. Possibly he could have died from this. I mean, how many people get hit by a bus and live? Not many.
Not many.
So the reason why I brought this story up is because it has been there was a news story that was published a couple days after it, stating that they have cleared him of the citation. So he no longer has the ticket. And this reminds me, it's kind of a personal thing. It kind of reminds me, my mother was in a wreck. She was coming over the hill. She was actually going below the speed limit. And according to the officer on the scene, when they measure things out, he actually confirmed that she was going under the speed limit. She comes over the hill, and sitting in the middle of the road is a car talking with their friend who's standing in the front yard raking leaves. Just over the crest of a hill, on a road that you used to live off of, which Randleman Road, where the speed limit, if I'm not mistaken, was 55. My mother was doing 50 or less. So going under the speed limit, which is unusual these days,
right.
And just over the crest, here's a car completely stopped. Of course, she slams on brakes. She loses control. She goes off the road and splits the front of the car in twain with a tree.
Wow.
Fortunate to be alive. Thank God that she was not seriously injured. But the sheriff followed the ambulance to the hospital, followed her into the emergency room while the doctors and nurses are attending to her, and is writing out the ticket and hands it to her, trying to get her to sign it. And the doctor is like, she's in no position to sign your ticket. I respect law enforcement. I do not respect that guy because, if he was going to give her a ticket, he could have at least waited until she got home from the hospital. Right. I just think that's a little too urgent. And this state trooper I felt was a little too urgent, following the ambulance to the hospital to write him a ticket. Is it really that important when you have people out there, you know, committing murders and rape? And
something similar happened to me when I was 18. I was going to work at Best Products, my second job ever. I was driving down Groomtown Road over near David's parents.
Okay, they're close to the BP.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
And I was pulling into that BP.
Okay.
And
British Petroleum.
It wasn't at the time.
No.
There were, all the parking spaces were taken, all but one.
Mm-hmm.
There was one person that was backing out after having gotten their gas. They were leaving. So I was turning left into this parking lot, and I was going very slowly because the person that was pulling out had stopped to let me in. Well, I was just making sure that they had stopped to let me in. So I was in the oncoming lane, but I was going very slowly. There's a big curve there, as you know, off of Groomtown Road, and apparently a van came flying around that corner. I never even saw it coming. They measured what made me think of this is they measured his tracks. He was speeding. He was going 70 miles an hour.
And that's a 45 zone right there.
45 zone.
Uh-huh.
Hit me broadside, turned my car into a horseshoe.
Woo!
Knocked me out. I wasn't wearing my seatbelt. My head hit the dash. There was a perfect indentation of the size of my head in the dash. When I came to, the guy that hit me was inside calling his attorney because everybody thought I was dead.
Right.
So I was out for several minutes. You know, I stumble out of the car, and father eventually shows up. I'm taken to the hospital, and I got my ticket at the hospital after I was sewn on.
Wow.
See that scar right there between my eyebrow and my eye? That was from that accident.
So to our law enforcement and law authorities, we do appreciate the job you do.
Absolutely.
And we do know that you have regulations and rules that you have to follow, that you can get in serious trouble if you don't. But following someone who could be dead or in very serious condition to the hospital, following the ambulance just to write them a ticket, I find that repulsive.
And I guess I deserved that I wasn't his lane, but he was clearly speeding.
Well, regardless if you were at fault or not, did they need to follow you to the hospital, write a ticket? I mean, mail it to you or something. I mean, that.
I don't know the laws. If I got to sign for it, I don't remember if I had to sign for it then.
I don't care what the law is.
Getting it at the hospital, and I do think it's kind of odd and funny.
It seems like with all the serious crime that we have out there, that would take a little bit more priority over something like that, over when someone's life could actually be in the balance. I don't know. Anyhow,
we'll say, but state troopers aren't the same ones that are fighting the serious crimes.
The state troopers are. I have never met one that was not a jerk. I'm just being honest.
I was driving I had come back from Acapulco, flown into Greensboro. Me and a girl I was seeing was driving to Ohio after just getting back from Acapulco to visit family. And while in Mexico, I never get sick. Mm-hmm. I get back here, we drive, we stop in Beckley, in Charleston, West Virginia. The next morning, we decide to drive the rest of the way, and I'm deathly ill. I mean, I'm vomiting and like every 5 minutes.
Wow.
You know, vomiting, diarrhea.
Makes for a pleasant car ride.
Wonderful. And we're driving through Ohio, which has the worst state troopers. They pull her over for speeding because she's driving because I'm obviously too sick to drive. And as he pulls us over, I get out. I'm vomiting in the bushes because she was trying to rush to get to the next gas station so that I, could do my business. And he writes her a ticket while I'm vomiting in the bushes.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, and I don't mean that to sound cruel because, I mean, I have met plenty of city police officers. I've met plenty of county sheriffs that are personable, friendly people. And all the state troopers, and I don't mean while on the job. I mean off the job. Right. They've been jerks to me. Oh, yeah, and some that I knew personally, and they still were jerks to me. So they are not out there fighting crime like the actual police officers and sheriffs are.
What about the speed traps that they set? Like I got a ticket in Winston a year ago. It was on a small side street, and I think the speed limit on that side street is 35. Mm-hmm. I had just turned onto that side street. He says I was doing 42 in a 35. Mm-hmm. Now this is not a street that gets a lot of traffic. I wasn't endangering anybody's lives. He was set up on that street specifically, and when he gave me the ticket, he says, yes, I set myself up here because I constantly get people speeding on this small street.
Right, because he has nothing else better to do.
Exactly. And it's not like he's trying to save somebody's life here.
Right.
It's not like going 7 miles over the speed limit is all that terribly dangerous.
Right.
Honestly, I dispute that I was going that speed limit, going that fast anyways. I had just turned on, not that I'm above speeding, because, I'm not. But I had just turned onto that road.
Right.
I find it hard to believe that I afford to get to that speed. So, anyway.
Man, and if you're speeding, you're breaking the law. We understand that. And when you speed, that is the chance that you're taking.
Right.
We understand that as well. However, it does seem like, if you just happen to be driving by and he clocked you, that's different. But if he's camped out there, it's like, okay, Winston is ridden with crime. Why isn't he out there? I don't know.
Or if you're going to camp out somewhere where speeding could cost somebody their life.
Zone.
Right. Not some small side street that.
Right. Exactly. Not just specifically making your quota. And they always deny they have quotas, but I know for an absolute fact they do have quotas. They don't call them quotas, but that's what they are. Well, Eric, earlier you mentioned British Petroleum.
Yes.
Gas has come down. Mm-hmm. It's about half what it was there at its peak.
Right.
But still, we kind of got spoiled there paying $1.25 for quite some time, 89 cents. It was kind of nice. Here's a story. A guy was a commuter in Richland, Washington. He thought he had been overcharged when he tried to do his PayPal. He had a PayPal credit card, a debit card, and he pulls in to gas up, and it says that there's not enough on it. He's like, well, he had a couple $100 on it, and he got $26 worth of gas. Come to find out, they charged him $81 billion.
For how much gas?
For $26 worth. 81, and that's billion with a B.
I don't know what the markup is on there. I think it might be a little excessive.
That might be excessive. And he called customer service and said, I can assure you, I did not buy $81 billion worth of gas. And the customer service representative argued with him.
No.
Argued with him. I mean, seriously, if I were that customer service, I'd have been like, yeah, obviously there's a mistake. I mean, yeah, maybe if someone was sitting there trying to fill up, their friends and neighbors, and they're like, oh, it was just mine, $26. $81 billion. I mean, that's probably more than they bring in the tanker, in New York and the harbor when they bring it in. I mean, $81 billion. So yeah, and the thing that caught me was the PayPal customer service actually argued with him, saying, no. However, a spokeswoman for PayPal, Sarah Gorman, said that the misunderstanding was a result of a mistake in a voicemail from a PayPal processing partner about the transaction that put the merchant identification number where the amount should have been. So the ID number for the merchant was put in where the amount. And she said, I can assure you that we did not charge him $81 billion. Anyhow, he was able to get his $26 of gas.
Good.
And he told the newspaper that he called customer service, and the matter has finally been resolved after some discussion. So, $81 billion for taking gas. That's pretty. That's a lot. That is. So, do you have a story for us, Eric?
Well, let's see here. I do have a couple others. I've got one about a gunman who steals toilet paper from an elderly couple.
Okay.
2 elderly people on the city's east side were held up at gunpoint in their home Monday. According to the police report, it happened shortly after 9 a.m. on Phoenix Avenue. The man and woman were sitting in their living room when a stranger opened the door and just walked in. He pointed a pistol at the man, said, "Give it up, man, the brown wallet." The man said he had no wallet. The suspect searched him. He then turned the gun to the woman and demanded money from her. She also had none. The suspect then took 2 bundles of toilet paper from the house and ran off down Winthrop Street.
Well, you know what? I bet those 2 elderly people were feeling something. How do you think they felt?
I think they got wiped out. Oh. They probably felt like they got wiped out.
That's the quality programming we have here in the CD studios.
Right.
That was just
a long way to go for that joke.
But that was an actual story.
It's a true story.
It's a true story.
True story.
Well, speaking of other criminal weirdness, Eric, here's an interesting story from Erwin, Tennessee. This person, I would have to say, and I don't know him personally, but I would have to say he's not exactly bright. Caption: man uses fake money to buy fake drugs. Officers say some of the bogus bills were only printed on one side. A man has been arrested after police said he used counterfeit money to purchase fake OxyContin pills from an undercover officer. The county sheriff's deputies arrested a 21-year-old man on Tuesday and charged him with criminal conspiracy with Schedule II drugs, forgery, and criminal simulation. Investigator Frank Rogers said the officer met with several people at a mobile home park and arranged for the suspect and another man to come to Unicoi to buy 76 OxyContin pills for $4,875. That comes out to about $62 a pill. It's kind of expensive.
They don't round up or round down.
No, they don't. No rounding up with this sheriff department. Officers said it was obviously bad money with some bills printed on just one side. The authorities tracked down the device believed to use to make the counterfeit money, and Johnson City Press reported officers expect to make more arrests in the case forthwith. So this person, not real. I wouldn't say he's the brightest person because he used fake money. But then, in addition, some of it was only printed on one side. Now, I have never purchased drugs, and I don't know about the dealings of drug purchasing, but what they show on TV, I think is somewhat accurate. It may be glamorized and kind of hyped, but I do think usually the drug sellers aren't maybe the most friendly of people. And I don't think they like it if they get shorted or if they get fake money.
True.
So this guy is pretty brave if he's going to a drug dealer and giving fake money that only printed on one side. He's kind of brave, or people
I can see where maybe they might get by with it if they were like, sometimes you see the deals on TV. Of course, I'm not out purchasing drugs. I don't know how it works in real life.
Right.
But on TV, where they actually slide them the money and
right.
grab the drugs, all the same hand movement and that kind of stuff.
Like as they pass by.
Right. You don't see the drug dealers holding the 20 up to the light to make sure that it's
or pull out his pen.
Right. Right, exactly. Not hold out his pen to mark the bills. They're just kind of trying to keep everything down on the down low.
Right.
But when you're coming out with $4,875, that's pretty an exact amount.
Right.
Pretty large amount too. I can see where there'll be a little more scrutiny in those type of bills. Plus, I don't know. I'm not an attorney though. Can you be charged with a crime if you don't use real money to buy fake drugs?
Yes, because the money was counterfeit, and it is a crime to make the money, and it's also a crime to knowingly use it. Now, if you get a $20 bill as change, and from one, like a restaurant, and then you try to use it elsewhere, and they mark it, and they find out it's fake. There's no way to prove that you know.
Right.
But that's not a crime. But if you're printing it and using it, that in itself is a crime. And then purchasing drugs is a crime. And even if the drugs are fake, the fact that you went there with intent to purchase is a crime. So yeah.
Well, since we're speaking about crime, I have another story. This has to do with airlines and people taking things they shouldn't, or try to take things they shouldn't onto airplanes.
Okay.
So, attention airline passengers, leave the chainsaws, chocolate-covered heroin bars, and frozen monkey heads at home.
What a list.
An Australian traveler, made worldwide,
folks, we're having a little bit of technical difficulty here. I'm just going to take over real quick because we're talking about crime. And as long as we're talking about crime, I'm going to continue talking about crime here. Elria, Ohio. This woman is my hero. 70-year-old wife of an Ohio judge said teens who tried to rob her made her so angry that she whacked one in the head with a saucepan. Ellen Basinski said she was on the phone with her husband Tuesday when four boys pushed her way into her home in Elria, ever how you pronounce that, west of Cleveland. Lorain County Judge David Basinski overheard the scuffle and raced home while his wife grabbed her favorite pan to defend herself against intruders rifling through her purse and cabinets. One of the teens told the police he threw a bottle of whiskey at Basinski to distract her so another boy could flee. They ran from the house, but they were later caught and charged with aggravated burglary. The judge said his wife is upset the police took the pan as evidence. On hearing the news, Emeril Lagasse, famous chef, said he felt so bad that the woman that she lost her pan that he's replacing it. He's actually sending her a whole new set of his signature cookware. But this lady, and they have a picture. We wish you could see this picture. This lady is holding her pan, and it's like she's getting ready to backhand you with it. And I say good for her.
Absolutely.
4 teens come in, bullying her around, going through her purse in front of her, and she just takes the matter into her own hand, and we're going to learn our concealed carry class, not just about using firearms, but also when it's appropriate to use what kind of force.
Right.
And the force has to equal the crime. Well, I say this is appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
They were coming in, pushing her around, going through her purse, going through her cabinets,
throwing bottles of whiskey
at her, so she cracks them over the head with a pan. She is my hero.
Well, from Ohio, you don't mess with Ohioans.
No, apparently not to her. So, yeah.
I want to try that other story again.
Try that other story again.
I got soaked up there got a little
verklempt.
Yes. But an Australia traveler made worldwide headlines last month when he tried to smuggle 2 live pigeons past airport security by concealing them against his legs under a pair of tights. Customs and Transportation Security Administration officials at New York airports say they have just as many wacky tales to tell. In recent months, agents have seized everything from drug-stuffed dead cat to a 7-pound shipment of chocolate-covered heroin bars.
Wow.
Then there are the weapons. More than 7 years after September 11th, some air travelers think nothing to try and walk onto airplanes armed to the teeth. People are still showing up at checkpoints with loaded guns, explosives, and fireworks. We've got nunchucks, Chinese throwing stars, and swords concealed inside of canes this year. Need to cut down a tree on vacation? You still need to read those pesky TSA rules. Someone even once tried to bring a fully gassed-up power chainsaw through a checkpoint.
Wow.
Since December, customs officials at Kennedy, LaGuardia, and Newark airports have seized more than $2 million worth of creatively concealed drugs, jewels, and a collection of 19th century Fabergé treasures. In December, they seized $1.2 million in diamonds from a passenger flying in from Tel Aviv who had claimed he had nothing to declare. They confiscated 7 stolen Fabergé bowls and cutlery valued at $250,000 in January and have intercepted multiple cocaine shipments worth nearly $600,000 concealed in canned vegetables and Kahlua bottles. Let's see here. They've seen drug-filled dead cats, a frozen monkey head, and a suitcase bursting with wriggling cockroaches.
Nice.
Yeah. A Chilean family once tried to wheel a dead relative through security in a wheelchair at JFK to avoid paying the fee for transporting a body. Agents at Newark Airport recently confiscated more than 7 pounds of heroin coming from Bogota, Colombia, disguised as, what is it? Bogota, thank you. Bogota, Colombia, disguised as chocolate bars. The faux candy even had stamped indentations dividing the bars into realistic-looking bite-sized chunks.
Wow.
So,
Chainsaws. Well,
now you know you can't take them. You've heard it here.
You've heard it here.
You don't actually have to read those TSA rules.
You don't have to read. We are providing a public service.
Yes.
TSA, public service announcement for the TSA.
Yes.
Do not take dead relatives,
chainsaws,
or monkey heads,
or frozen monkey heads, or dead cat stuffed with drugs.
Right.
Or heroin chocolate bars.
Where would one find a frozen monkey head? Well, I guess you would have from the freezer, but I mean, where would one find a monkey head? I guess what you could do is go up to Connecticut.
There you go.
police department where they have shot Travis the chimp.
That's right.
And asked him for his head.
That's right.
And then put it in the freezer. But don't take it on the plane.
If you're going to come back, either take a bus or ship it UPS.
Oh, that is bad. I would never have said to myself, I'm going to take a chainsaw with me on the plane.
No.
That is amazing. Yeah. So I have a story here.
I've never once thought I needed my chainsaw on vacation.
No. Well, you go on vacation to get away from work.
That's right.
Fort Pierce, Florida, is about 50 miles north of where I was born and raised.
We have hometown stories.
We have hometown stories. We do.
Mine's still coming.
And I have a relative. I have relatives that actually still reside in Fort Pierce. This lady. Now this is. I think she's being a little bit of a drama queen. Okay. Authorities say a Florida woman called 911 3 times after McDonald's employees told her they were out of chicken McNuggets. 27-year-old resident Latricia Goodman told authorities she paid for a 10-piece last week, but was later informed the restaurant had run out. She says she was refused a refund and told all sales were final. A cashier told police she offered Goodman a larger portion of a different food for the same price, but Goodman became irate. Here is a quote. "This is an emergency. If I would have known they didn't have McNuggets, I wouldn't have given my money, and now she wants to give me a McDouble. But I don't want one. This is an emergency." Police say Goodman was cited on a misuse of 911 charge. A current phone listing for her could not be found. A McDonald's spokesman said Goodman should have been given a refund, and she's been sent a gift card for a free meal. Now, in her defense, if they do not have the product you paid for, and you don't want anything else, you should be given a refund.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Now, if she was
McDonald's was definitely the wrong there.
And now if she had been given the 10-piece McNugget, then I could see them saying, no, all sales are final, because you don't want to give someone food. They slobber on it and then give it back, obviously. But yeah, this is, McDonald's was in the wrong. They should have given her a refund. However,
or if they only had 8 and she ordered 10,
give her 8.
Give her 8.
And for free. Right. Something. Show of good faith. Yeah. But to go and say, okay, Miss Goodman, we're going to give you a McDouble. I understand why she was upset.
Plus, McDoubles cost less than McNuggets.
Exactly. But my question...
They're on the dollar menu.
My question
Nuggets aren't on the dollar menu.
No, they aren't. My question is, though, is this truly an emergency? Obviously, it's not an emergency. But this lady honestly felt it was an emergency and called 911 3 times.
Well, she felt like she was being robbed.
Well, she has been charged with criminal mischief. No, she has been charged with misuse of 911, and I believe that's appropriate because 911 is for true emergencies, and this was not. So, Ms. Goodman,
you said she called multiple times.
3 times. Yeah, and was saying it was an emergency. That's kind of embarrassing.
Not very flattering stories coming from our hometowns.
No, it's not. Do you have one from your hometown?
I do. Speaking of Kettering, Ohio, where I am from, breastfeeding while driving gets a woman a ticket. A Harrison Township woman faces child-endangering charges after police said she admitted to breastfeeding her child, talking on a cell phone while driving, according to Kettering police officer Michael Burke.
Wow.
The incident happened about 7:45 a.m. Thursday, February 26th, near the intersection of Far Hills Avenue and Dorothy Lane, Burke said, which happens to be, there's a Friendly's ice cream right there.
Okay.
It's really good ice cream. A male motorist called the police department's non-emergency number to report that he had seen the woman breastfeeding and talking on the cell phone while driving. The man reported that he had also witnessed a woman driving a Honda minivan into the parking lot of a local school, saw some children get out of the van. The man then got the van's license plate number and called the police. I'm following right behind her right now on Far Hills, the caller said as he spoke to the Kettering dispatcher. The recording of this non-emergency call was released by police on February 27th, and you can actually listen to it on the Dayton Daily News website. I listened to it. It's pretty funny. I tried to say something to her. She literally has a little girl on the steering wheel, and I said, I can't believe you have that kid in your lap. And she says, you want to pop your titty out and breastfeed this kid? That's what she said to me. I'm like, you can't feed your kid when you're stopped. It's like wet out here. It's full of traffic. It's ridiculous. You got like 3 kids in the car with you. The woman came to the area and tried to locate. The police came to the area and tried to locate the van, but could not find it. So they used the license plate number and contact information to track her down. The police spoke to her. She admitted that she had breastfed the child, and the police officer took the information, presented it to the city prosecutor's office, and that's when they decided they needed to charge her with first-degree misdemeanor of child endangering. So, in fact, they went back to her house to serve her with the ticket. They couldn't find her, so they went to the school where they thought she would be and served her with the ticket there, which further, she didn't like that either. They thought she should mail it instead of embarrassing her with it. But they said it was a legal document, it had to be personally served, which I guess explains why we got our tickets at the
right at the hospital. Well, this is a little bit different situation. She was. I mean, anytime you do anything other than drive, you're putting yourself at risk. But if she's doing all that many things and no kids are in the car, she's putting herself and other people at risk. But then to actually have her child on the steering wheel while she's driving, if she had an airbag, who knows what it would have done? It could have been fatal.
Absolutely.
I mean, that was just.
The police said it wasn't a matter of her breastfeeding in public. That's not what she was charged with. If she had just had the child sitting in her lap while she was driving, she would have been given.
Sure, absolutely. She was being negligent.
Yes. To
her parental duties.
And not only that, she was driving with other kids in the car.
Right.
In a school zone. Mm-hmm. With other kids, when you can't talk on the phone, breastfeed while it's raining outside, in a school zone, and do it safely.
And I believe she was also legally drunk. I think she was drinking whiskey while this was happening. That's one thing that was in the 911 call.
Omitted.
Yes.
So, apparently, if convicted of child endangering charge, Compton could face up to 180 days in jail, fine between $1,500 and $1,800. So.
Hopefully she won't have to spend that time in jail because then her child would be without a mother. But hopefully this will be a wake-up call and she will be a better parent.
I hope so. Embarrassing story from my hometown.
Yes.
I actually saw it on the news the other day. I went out looking for that story.
Here's a dark story that I'm not going to go into full detail on, and we'll not necessarily want to make it funny, but placentas have been found in the sewage system in Chicago. Placentas. Police and medical experts investigate. They don't want to prosecute. They just want to stop the practice. They're not looking to, put someone in jail or fine anyone. They just want this to stop. Someone is disposing of placentas in Central Illinois sewage system. Workers in Urbana on Thursday found a placenta in a filter that keeps large objects out of sewage treatment plants. The third such find this year. Police have brought in medical experts. It was one of the weirdest calls I've ever received, says one expert. She said, you found a what and where? The unprecedented finds have officials wondering if a midwife or veterinarian stressed by economic woes has been avoiding the expense of paying for a medical waste disposal service. Police aren't aiming for an arrest. Nobody suspects foul play. The umbilical cord is still attached and cut clean, so it's not like someone in a back alley.
Right.
There's they say storm sewers and toilet drain probably are the likeliest routes, but I don't think my personal toilet at home would be able to flush a placenta, says one of the experts. We don't believe they were specimens kept for research or testing. They appear to be fairly fresh, so to speak. they have linked the DNA to human, so they know it is from a human placenta, human birth. However, the Maggie Carson, the state's EPA representative, I'm going to get on my high horse here, say some parents may want them for a post-birth ritual. However, and this is a quote, it is never acceptable to put placenta in the sewer system. So here, another PSA here from Incoherent Ramblings. Do not place your placenta in the sewer system. But
that reminds me of my mom was served on a jury duty up in Ohio before we moved here, so it's pre-'84. And the case that she was on was about a funeral home who was disposing of human body parts, just throwing them in creeks and rivers.
Oh, my.
And how it was found is some kids were playing with what they thought was a hard rock, and it turned out to be a liver. That's when they first drew their attention to this case. And apparently, I guess, to cut corners, this...
Was that David Crosby's liver?
It's hard as a rock, but I don't know who.
I thought livers were kind of spongy or whatever.
He's not dead, is he?
Oh, his liver is. I don't know. That's completely inappropriate. I'm sorry. Okay, well, we apologize to our listeners. This has kind of been a haphazard show. We were late coming online on the air.
Should we? This is just, I'm going out there. I know we still have a few seconds here left. I'll ask now. Instead of wrapping it up, should we wrap it up and then go a few minutes longer for those who listen to it pre-recorded?
We could. We can go. We go up to.
I'd hate to short those who
download our loyal listeners
who download our show. I'd hate to short them of 10 minutes, but
yes.
Anyway.
Well, we'll see. Well, what we have, we have promoted a review of the Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Oh, did we promote that?
Yes, we did. we did. Right here it is. We also promoted You're Going to Defend Your Money Savings, which we may have to push off again. For right now, we can keep recording, yes. But for right now, maybe you can go ahead and quickly give us your McMahon rating system and what you would rate this movie.
All right. First of all, I'm embarrassed that being the movie reviewer here for Incoherent Ramblings, for all the shows that were nominated for Best Picture, I had not seen one of them. And one of them was Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Okay.
So the McMahon method of reviewing movies is I rate them either as you pay full price and you go to the movies and see it, or you go to a matinee and you see it, or C, you rent the movie, or D, you would wait for it to come on network TV or cable, or F, you wouldn't watch it at all. So
H, Natural Born Thrillers.
Right.
Exactly.
So I did watch The Curious Case of Benjamin Button last week. I honestly thought it was predictable. I thought it was average, worth seeing. But I would pay matinee at the most, or wait for it to come out on rental.
Right.
I don't think it deserved Best Picture nominations at all.
I happen to like Brad Pitt.
I do.
I think he's a good actor. I've always enjoyed his acting. I have not seen the movie.
It was long.
It was long and tedious, I've heard.
It drawn out. I think they could have accomplished the same thing in far less time. I thought it was well put together. I thought it was well acted. I thought it was predictable. I was slightly disappointed. Maybe it was because I had, at this point, that this is nominated for Best Picture and just expected more.
Right. Well, when I saw the previews for it, I like most every movie I watch, even ones that I'm not crazy about. I like them on some level, of your system. Not many of them fall into that fifth category. Right. However, by the previews, I'm very judgmental, and by this previews to this one, I really didn't have any desire to see it. Well, we are going to go ahead and do our official wrap-up and close the show out here, but we may continue to incoherently ramble after the show goes off live for a few more minutes for our loyal listeners that listen to us after the show has been recorded. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week. This has been Blog Talk Radio's The Incoherent Ramblings of C&E. Christopher and Eric are your hosts, and we would like to thank you for listening to our show today. Don't forget to tune in for next week's show live from Greensboro, North Carolina, as we are every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay. Show is on, but not streaming. If someone were listening live right now, they would still be able to hear us.
Would they?
Oh, no, they wouldn't. I was confused.
But now they wouldn't.
Now they wouldn't. If they were in our chat room, we could certainly still chat with them.
Absolutely.
That doesn't close until we actually close it ourselves. We're gonna stay on here and talk for just a few more minutes. Nothing exciting or big. The case of the curious case of Benjamin Button. Eric said he would give that basically a matinee at best, possibly even wait until it comes out for rental.
Yeah.
Without seeing it, I have to concur. That would be my personal review of it as well.
I paid full price and regretted it personally.
Okay.
So.
There you go. We are going to go to DaytonDailyNews.com and see if we can find some interesting news in Dayton, Ohio.
You can find that story about the breastfeeding.
Right here.
There you go. This is kind of an experiment. I did want to try. I wanted the people to hear the audio that 911 call.
Uh-huh.
I don't see the link for it there now.
This is an updated article.
Oh.
Because see, it says
yes.
Moment. Yeah, so. Wow.
See if we can do a search then for breastfeeding while driving. I just kind of want to see what it would sound like. I know you said there could be feedback or whatnot.
Right.
But if we could play it through here and see what it sounded like for those, it was kind of a funny. While Chris looks that up, I'll tell you about one other story that I had we didn't have time for on the show. Trooper arrests drunk driver in trooper's garage.
Wow.
This is in Washington State. Washington State trooper Trevor Downey can't get away from his job. Downey had finished work and was headed to his home when he came up behind a car going slower than the speed limit. The tan 99 Dodge Avenger was driving about 30 miles per hour on a 50-mile-per-hour county road north of town. The car then turned into the driveway of Downey's home and parked in the trooper's garage. Downey pulled up behind the Dodge and got out to talk to the driver, who was alone. The trooper asked the man what he was doing, and the man said, "I live here." Downey told the driver that he was in fact the trooper. This was in fact the trooper's house. Downey arrested Joseph Tankskin, 31 of Buena, for DUI and having a revoked license in the first degree. He had that driver had 3 DUI convictions already. Said the Washington State Police.
So quite a bit of illegal activity going on with his car, but still not as much as the gentleman from Florida who had 50 citations in one day.
Correct.
I'm pretty sure he will hold that record forever.
Yeah.
I unfortunately no longer have the link that you sent me.
Okay.
Everybody that knows me knows I delete at the drop of a hat.
Right.
And so I no longer have it. I did a search there.
Okay.
It comes up with nothing. I was hoping they would have links to previous stories from the current story they have now.
Right.
And they don't really seem to have that.
Okay.
Well, we can still test that out on our own. The cool thing, well, here we go. The cool thing about Blog Talk Radio,
mm-hmm.
they do, Yeah, here it is. They do allow us to do test recordings that aren't available to, live. So that's kind of neat. We just aren't seeming to find it. So, we can still test that though.
Yes.
So Benjamin Button, if you hadn't seen it, don't fool with it. Don't waste your money.
Or rent it. I did say I enjoyed it. I don't think it was quite worth the hype. I won't say that it's not worth watching. There was parts of it I did enjoy.
Eric, it's interesting. More often than not, it seems to me that a lot of the movies that are nominated for Best Picture are movies that I've never seen, like you said, some of which I've never even heard of, and most of the time, not all the time, most of the time I don't enjoy.
Right.
I mean, it's just kind of how it happens.
We have The Curious Case of Benjamin Button this year. What else? Slumdog Millionaire, which I am going to watch. I think that one I might like that one. So I'm going to take it upon myself to see that one.
I had never heard of it until I saw an article on the internet about it.
Right. And Milk, which I don't intend to see.
It does a body good. Mm-hmm. Never heard of that.
Yeah, I can't recall what the other ones were.
Wow. So, well, I think that's all we have.
Doubt.
One of them. Oh, actually, I think, is that the one about, priests or nuns or something?
Yes.
I remember seeing it.
It might be worth running.
It looked interesting to me.
Yeah. I'm going to check that one out.
I wouldn't have saw it. I generally don't see arty films, and I'm not saying it's arty, but I generally don't see arty at the theater. I generally rent that.
There was one other. I hate to do it injustice, but I can't remember what it was.
Maybe we'll look that up.
Yes, we will.
Well, we're going to wrap it up with a little bit of sports. Carroll, ever how they pronounce it, different people pronounce it differently. T.O. Parting ways with the Dallas Cowboys. I won't read the entire article, but recently the owner, Jerry Jones, made a statement that was kind of convoluted at best, but it was taken to say that T.O. was there to stay and he wasn't going anywhere. That's how the media took it. T.O. himself said that he had every intention on finishing his career at Dallas and going into the Hall of Fame as a Dallas Cowboy. And that may sound arrogant, but the fact is he will go to the Hall of Fame. Yeah, there's no denying that. But yeah, he's gone. Everywhere he's been trouble. They call him a locker room cancer. They said the reason why they let him go is because they want to make their locker room harmonious. I don't know why, and I can't really explain it. I like him. I've always liked him. I
don't dislike him, but I don't think I'd like to be on. I wouldn't want to be one of his teammates.
I can see that. It's kind of like Dennis Rodman. I've always liked Dennis Rodman for some reason. It's not for the bad boy image either. I mean, the guy played his butt off on the court.
Yep.
But T.O., in my opinion, even at the age of 35, is still a premier receiver in the league.
Yep.
He will play somewhere next year. I mean, locker room cancer or not, he'll play somewhere because he's that good.
Right.
He's kind of at his own level.
He's high on himself, though.
He is. But, as Cassius Clay said, it's not bragging if you can back it up. And he backs it up. I mean, he came into Philadelphia, and not single-handedly. Now, we can't forget that McNabb was making the pass to him. But the fact is, he came in, and with very few other changes, certainly no other high-level changes, took a team that did not even make the playoffs to the Super Bowl.
Right.
And he was really the only high-level change. Did he have that much of an impact? We can only go by what we see, and it looks like he did. Now, the Cowboys haven't gone, but also they have a lot of other top-level players.
Yeah.
I think that's just maybe I don't think that has anything to do with T.O. However, I'm kind of surprised with this. I honestly didn't think that I thought he would finish his career there.
Right.
They had him locked into a 4-year deal, and he is no longer a Cowboy. So it'll be kind of interesting. Eric and I, both football fans, it'll be kind of interesting to see where he ends up for the 2009-2010 season. So, well, Eric, do you have anything else?
I think that's all I have, Chris.
I think that is all I have also. We are pretty much done. So we appreciate our listeners that were hanging out with us today.
Apologize for the problems in the beginning.
Apologize for the problems in the beginning.
They were outside of our control.
Outside of our control, but still we apologize for that. And please keep in mind, if you're listening to our show live, at a minimum, feel free to come into the chat room and chat with us. We're not going to be interactive and chatting back and forth. No IMing. And it may take us a minute or two before we get to what you said, but please feel free to use that medium because we do keep that open and an eye on it during the show. Also, please feel free to go to any of our social networking sites or blogtalkradio.com/incoherent ramblings to get all of our information, contact information, show schedules, and please feel free to email us.
Yes, we've had some great positive emails here recently that
yes, very flattering actually.
Very flattering.
We had one email that says that they listen to our show and they feel as they sit there they feel they are sitting amongst friends. And we've received several flattering emails, but that one pretty much was the best for me. That kind of gave me the big head for a few minutes. It did. But we appreciate our listeners. We really do. Spread the word. We have new listeners, actually. Spread the word, and hopefully next week we won't be as haphazard at the beginning, and we'll be a little bit more prepared. If this is your first show with us, it's not really indicative of what we usually have. But the name of the show,
Incoherent Ramblings.
Incoherent Ramblings.
And we lived up to that today.
But that's what it's about. That's why we don't have an outline or a format. We just go with whatever we feel like doing, sharing news articles from our perspective and our spin.
The most organized we get is when we have our guests on here. So.
Yes, and speaking of which, 2 weeks from today, we will have a segment on gun safety and guns in general.
You said it was on the 19th?
On the 19th.
We will have completed our course then. We will be more knowledgeable.
We will actually be more knowledgeable. Yes. So we will be less ignorant. And I'm really hoping to get Joe, Professor Joe, NRA certified instructor. The real deal, and like I said, he does officiate. He is an official at legitimate, not someone's backyard, but an actual shooting range where they have shooting competitions for Boy Scouts, Olympic tryouts, things on that level where it's very serious business. This guy knows guns. He is a staunch proponent of gun safety.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to that.
We have that 2 weeks from today. So that is our show. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks for listening, and we hope you'll be back with us next week.